A good morning, one and all. It is match day, and as such, we will be looking forward to the Fulham game later on this evening. We'll all have our cocoa and our slippers by the time the match finishes. That's for sure. Of course, we won't be here on Hammers Chat. We'll be doing videos all day long and well into the small hours of the night. We're going to be looking forward to the Fulham game. As I say here, in particular, a couple of players, who's going to feature, who's not going to feature. There's also some weird comments from Jack Wilshere, may I say. I don't know. I'll let you decide, but maybe he was best off keeping quiet. Also, David Moyes has highlighted the 3 players that he thinks our squad still require and the positions in which we require them in. I'm sure you'll all agree as well, by the way. There's a few other things, a few other stories I just want to cover. There's quite a lot to get through. As such, I'm not going to be dealing with any of the questions that I asked you to give. Actually, most of the questions which you kindly put in yesterday's comments section were mostly to do with who's going to play up front and about Sebastian Haller. I just want to talk about that briefly now in a second, which will cover everybody that sent that in. There's one other question pertaining to David Moyes. Somebody's done a magnificent question, by the way, and it's a video in itself, so I'll deal with that one of the days next week. But it was very, very, very good, so thank you very much, and I'll be featuring that later on. Firstly, just before we get into the Fulham game, just talking about those positions that David Moyes seems to have highlighted, it basically goes on to say David Moyes could go back into the transfer window for a top central defender next summer. Okay, well, that's interesting. First, it says is the move. Do you remember the move for Frederick Alves? His name is Frederick Alves Ibsen. And it was rumoured that he wasn't seen to be part of the first team picture. Remember, the Danish lad went over to Brazil, got picked up by a Danish scout in Brazil and ended up back in Denmark. Lovely story. We like that story. Not part of the first team plans, apparently, which probably makes me think this is not one of David Moyes' picks. So apparently David Moyes is still after a central defender because evidently he thinks that he's very happy with Balbuena. He's very happy with Ogbonna. He's very happy with Diop. Apparently he wants one more. He thinks you should have 4. I think we're all... no one's going to argue with him bringing another one in. And certainly no one's going to argue with the fact that Craig Dawson is a short-term fix in that respect. The other position he seems to want is a reserve central defensive midfielder. Now, this becomes... I think we'd all agree we're quite light in midfield as well. But bearing in mind Mark Noble has picked up another injury as well, I think we're seeing a gradual decline of Mark Noble's involvement in the squad. And of course, I do wonder, he's always played quite a lot, Mark, hasn't he? I just wonder, this is the second niggle he's picked up since he's not been playing. I do wonder if he perhaps needed the regularity of getting onto the football pitch to keep him fit. And whilst he's just training, he seems to be picking up these knocks, obviously getting a little bit older as well. So David Moyes has highlighted that we might need another central midfielder. I'm sure we all agree with that. And also, unsurprisingly, a striker. Well, tell us something we don't know. We all know. Whether you think... It doesn't matter whether you think Sebastian Haller is complete rubbish or just not suited to the system. Actually, the end result is exactly the same. We probably do need a new striker. Anyway, so a lot of the questions that have gone into... that came in the chat yesterday when I told when basically turned into an episode of Jack and Ori, which I apologise for, but strangely, a couple of people have asked for more stories. I don't have loads of stories, by the way, about my footballing tales. Yeah, so there you go. Anyway, I asked if I could have a few suggestions. A lot of them were asking what we should do about Sebastian Haller for the Fulham game. And look, I said in the preview I think he should play, but a lot of people have said, well, what do you think we should do if he doesn't play? Would you play Bowen up there? Do you think Benrahma should go in? Should we play with a false 9? Now, I think there are reasons to play with a false 9. I think they are numerous. And actually, not numerous. What am I talking about? Not numerous at all. I think they're few and far between. I don't know why I said numerous. I think they're a very, very specific set of circumstances that mean you play a false 9. Maybe one of them is you have a player like Lionel Messi. The other one tends to be, and as I remember, Sam Allardyce playing with a false 9 when, if you remember, we played against Tottenham and we beat them, and Ravel Morrison scored that absolutely wonderful goal. We were playing with a false 9 then because we didn't have a striker. I think you don't play with a false 9 when you have a £45 million striker. Yes, I know, lots of people here say he's crap, he's rubbish. But you still don't do that. You play the £45 million striker because he's more likely to get you a goal than whoever you're going to try and shoehorn into play as a striker. Remember the days of us playing Ian Pearce up front? I'm sure many of you do. Sorry, that's my laptop. It's making a hell of a racket there. It's for the knackers yard. There's something new happening basically. I've got a new microphone system coming up. You don't want to know about all that. Bore you with all that sort of stuff. So anyway, David Moyes has been talking about Sebastian Haller, been praising him, talking about how, firstly, about how he used to score goals at Frankfurt and how he's got a really good reputation in European football. He has. Both things are true. Then he also goes to say it takes a while to adapt to the Premier League. Well, no. I'm sorry. Not for that money. And not considering... He's not been here 5 minutes, do you know what I mean? He's not just arrived and he's played 3 games. He's been here a long, long time. We signed him last season. So he's had all the time in the world to adjust to the Premier League. I also have said on a few occasions, I don't think the Bundesliga is that much quicker. It's that much slower than the Premier League. I don't think there's a massive adjustment. It's not like adjusting from... I don't know, so like the Italian league, which is a slower pace and more defensive and more tactical. The Bundesliga's hustle and bustle. Premier League's hustle and bustle. It might be a bit more technical, the Bundesliga, possibly. Some pretty damn good technicians though in the Premier League, isn't there? So no, I don't go along with that. It needs time to settle. Somebody alluded to in the comments the other day that David Moyes always says nice things about players. Yeah, I agreed with that. I don't always think he means them, so I'm not reading too much into it. However, as one of the questions asked, would I expect David Moyes to start with Sebastian Haller? I would. If he doesn't, once again, it's all over. It's absolutely all over for him. I don't care what anyone says. If he goes and plays Yarmolenko in there, forget it. It ain't happening. So, you know, it just is. It shows he has zero faith in Sebastian Haller. Can't see it happening at all. Right, there are a couple of other articles which I just wanted to bring your attention to. I'll go with Jack Wilshere in just a second because I'll deal with it in a second. There's just one more that I wanted to see. Have you seen Porky Payet? Have you seen Porky Payet? There's this article. It says, at one time, Hammers hero Dimitri Payet has been criticised for piling on the pounds during his time at Marseille. And then there's a picture of Payet. Well, it's not, I don't know. It doesn't. Not necessarily a picture of Payet. It looks like somebody's eaten. There's a picture of somebody that's eaten Dimitri Payet. You know when a snake eats a larger animal, and it's the outline of the rabbit or whatever. This is what I think's happened. Someone's eaten Dimitri Payet. So you can see the outline of shape of Dimitri Payet. It's more like Father Christmas, Santa Payet, which is one of the most fabulous holiday destinations in the world, of course. And something about Antonio's contract update. We'll do that next week because it's the morning time and you want to enjoy a little bit of the day before you settle down. Something about us tracking a Mexican winger. Where is it? Where was the art? Ah, here we go. So there's the thing about Sebastian Haller. This is the one, Benrahma. I know I just applaud. Do you see it? I just applauded myself for finding a page on the internet. There we go. I'm obviously easily pleased with myself, aren't I, for doing something that basically everybody can do. Saïd Benrahma is closing in on his full West Ham debut, according to David Moyes. Okay, well, this is interesting. I'm very interested in what David Moyes got to say about this. Go on, Moisty, tell us. The Hammers face Fulham this weekend. We know that. Before the international break, and this may be the former Brentford star's moments. Okay. Bring it on. Benrahma has played just a single minute. Yes, we know this. Okay, off the bench against Liverpool. Moyes is taking a softly approach when it comes to giving the summer signing a real go at it. And he's now claimed the Algerian international is building up his fitness ahead of the Hammers debut. He said in the press, this is in the press conference, we have good competition, which I'm really happy with. Saïd is a part of that. He's getting closer to match fitness. He'll be in and around the squad again. Well, hold on a second. He'll be in and around the squad again? That's not him saying he's closing in on a full West Ham debut. That's not even confirming that he's in the squad. He's not even confirming he's going to be in the squad. I suspect he will, by the way, because Mark Noble's had a knock. He'll be in and around the squad again. He's moving up to match fitness. He's played international football. He's played for Brentford. He was at match fitness anyway. I don't know. I'm very suspicious about all this. As I said, David Moyes needs to put this to bed. And he needs to give him a start at some point. And I can think of no better time than against Fulham. Although, if you heard my preview with Gio, I do expect him to start with a fornicator. Up there on the left, El Fornicador. Right, let me just get to this. Jack Wilshere has said, right? Jack Wilshere has said, let me get to his quotes. He says, with my experience now, I'd be silly to go and sign for a team who are in a similar position to West Ham. When there is a relegation battle, teams want to nick a point and stay up, nick a goal and try and defend. That's not the type of player I am. I enjoy my football and play 25 to 30 games a season. Let me tell you now, I have supported Jack Wilshere through thick and thin. You watched this channel for the 2.5 years that he was with us. I was saying, I hope he comes good. He's my type of footballer. Magic left foot, can pass and go. There were times when our midfield was struggling and Wilshere was fit and I wanted him to play a part. And he certainly was fit for the last, let's say, I don't know, the last 6 months of his West Ham career. But he was still unfit for most of it. And bearing in mind, he's taken the best part of, I believe, allegedly, £14 million at West Ham. I believe he was on about £5 million a year. 3-year contract. The last one got paid off less than $1 million. Bearing in mind, he's taken the best part of £14 million off West Ham. You'd think he would be a little bit, just have a little bit more class, a little bit of wisdom, bearing in mind he's not a teenager, a little bit of wisdom not to stick the boot in, because actually what he says isn't true. When West Ham are basically saying, I'll be silly to join another team like West Ham, basically saying we're a team that's scrapped for relegation. Okay, well, I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening this season. I think it tells a lie. The fact of the matter is, this season, Jack Wilshere couldn't get into a team that's doing well. And by the way, let's just say that at tail end of last season, let's say the last quarter of the season, we were playing well. Jack Wilshere couldn't get into a team that was playing well. Now, I don't think that's all Jack's fault, by the way. I never thought that David Moyes fancied him, and we're starting to see this with other players like Haller and stuff. David Moyes don't fancy a player, you don't play. I get it, right? It's going to be very, very hard for a player like Jack Wilshere to break in and break up a partnership that is Declan Rice and Thomas Souček, who are just completely different types of players. That being said, for him to suggest that what we did was sit back and defend and nick a goal, that we've been doing that basically at the start of this season and at the end of last, is complete nonsense. We have been scoring lots of goals, right? We've been creating lots of chances, and that's not how we stayed up. We didn't stay up by nicking a goal. We stayed up by playing well, by going at teams, by attacking. Just, you've got to go back and look. Go back and look at that Tottenham game. After the Wolves game, go look at the Tottenham game. Then go look at the Chelsea game where Souček had the header ruled out for some obscure reason. Look how we played from that point, from then until now. He could just say things that haven't worked out. He's got to lie to make his point. He's got to make things up. Bearing in mind the amount of money he's taken off West Ham, he could be a little bit more gracious. Now, I understand. I would have every sympathy for him if he'd have turned around and said things didn't work out. I played his last season at Arsenal. He played a number of games. If he'd have turned around and said, I thought I signed up for West Ham, that I was fit. My family are West Ham season ticket holders. I supported him as a boy. I really hoped it's going to work out. It hasn't worked out, and I'm gutted for that. I don't think anyone would have anything bad to say about that. But why stick the boot in? Why make the snide comments? He has done very well out of West Ham financially. As I say, might not have been able to get in the team. But when David Moyes joined, it wasn't like Jack Wilshere was a mainstay of the team. It wasn't like Jack Wilshere. It's not like David Moyes came in and Jack Wilshere played 15 games consecutively, got 10 assists and stuff like that. Jack Wilshere wasn't even a feature. Jack Wilshere wasn't a player that David Moyes could call on at the time. So David Moyes did other things. Not his type of player, as I say, but come on, let's be perfectly frank about it. It hasn't worked out, but it's not really West Ham's fault, and let's not pretend we're what he's described, and we're not a relegation team at the moment anyway. Touch wood, We'll find out later tonight, about midnight or whatever. What time's it finish? About 10 o'clock. Anyway, join us for the build-up show. Time's kick-off 8. Build-up show about 5 to 7. Myself and Gio. Tom and Charlie, watch along. Myself and Gio, review. Patreon, player ratings, straight away afterwards. I'll be back here in the morning on this channel. Sunday morning. Not that early, I must say. I might have allow me sort of a little lie-in. The Beckmeister will be on with her review straight away after the game. After the victory against Fulham, of course. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the build-up. However you're going to watch it, don't forget, if you don't want to pay whoever it is, I don't even know if it's on Sky, BT, if you don't want to pay them, they're 15 quid. And this is the last round of exploitation PPV games. Then you can also donate it. I'll put the link below to the Newham Food Bank. That would be very, very much appreciated. You may find other ways to watch it. I don't know. I wouldn't condone that sort of behaviour. But there you go. Just in case. Cheers for watching. I'll catch up with you very soon.